British Columbia is one of the most forested places in the world, with 57% of the province being covered in trees and a much higher percentage than that on the coast where we are. We see a lot of trees. On the surface, this forest looks like it's pristine wilderness, but as we're about to see, not all trees or all forests are made equal. After a few days in the Broughtons, it was time for us to start heading north again. We just spent 6 days fishing, exploring, and relaxing in the waters where the forest meets the sea. Following a 3-year rebuild of our sailboat, this week had been exactly what we needed. We could have happily spent a lot more time here, but we had quite a few more places we wanted to explore, and the summer was coming to an end. We wanted to see more of the Broughtons before the weather turned and the winter storms rolled in. So with full hearts and full bellies, we motored deeper into the beautiful archipelago. Our next destination would be Napier Bay, where we planned to harvest more food. But before we reached Napier Bay, we planned to stop at Echo Bay for a night, a beautiful little stop on the west side of Guilford Island. This small bay is chock full of history. It's been a hotspot for millennia, beginning as an indigenous village, then becoming a hub community for settler loggers, fisher people, and scientists. It is now a privately owned marina and lodging owned by Ch6E12, who are the traditional owners of this land. You can learn more about the indigenous history from these beautiful signs that are all placed around the property. After a night in Echo Bay, we were excited to continue our journey to Napier Bay. Well, after one much too short night, we're on our way again. Had to be out of here by 10 a.m. for the current and the tide.
Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit disappointed in our scheduling and stuff, but we do need to move on.
We took the back way through the Broughtons, which was new to Logan and I, although Marty and May had traveled it many times. The wilderness of British Columbia is seemingly endless. Once you get north of Campbell River, all that's visible for miles is sea and trees. At first glance, it looks like healthy, happy, and abundant nature. But the reality is that a lot of what we're looking at here is actually tree plantations, and not really healthy forest ecosystems at all. Most of what you see in our videos is second growth forest. Second growth forest can potentially grow into healthy, abundant, and diverse forest again. But a lot of these forests are genetically modified monocrops, similar to a farmer's crop. They are designed to grow quickly for fast harvest and are usually harvested within 50 to 80 years of planting. The fact that they're monocrops also means that other species can't flourish in these forests the way that they would in a natural forest, and these areas end up looking more like a farmer's field than a diverse ecosystem. We continued on to Napier Bay. This location is an old logging sort that we had visited a few years ago. We knew there was at least 2 plant species here that we wanted to harvest from, and we were excited to see what else we could find. These plants were only here because the logging had been here. If they didn't have these open spaces, they wouldn't be able to grow and we wouldn't be able to harvest them. Well, we're only days away from September, but August is definitely still upon us. It's a bit unnerving to wake up almost every morning with no view. Luckily we don't have to travel early in the mornings right now, but if we did, it would be making things very difficult. I'm gonna head out this morning to harvest hopefully some blackberries, but also some St. John's wort. So around here there's quite a bit of St. John's wort growing. It's rare to find that up here, but because of the logging disturbance, it's been able to grab some ground. St. John's wort is really good for depression. You can make tea out of it. It also can interfere with a lot of medications though, so if you're watching this and you decide that you're gonna also go and harvest some St. John's wort, please do some more research about how it interferes with other medications and with other health conditions, because it is a very powerful medicine. I'm not an expert. I'm just learning all this too and sharing it with you. So yeah, do more research if you're going to be doing it yourself. But that's our plan, is to head to shore, get some St. John's wort, and get some Himalayan blackberries, hopefully. Maybe some thimbleberries as well. We'll see. Over here on the coast, we have a kind of complicated relationship with logging. 75% of BC's forests have been logged in the past 200 years. meaning that only 25% of old growth is left, and most of that is small trees in alpine areas or bogs, with less than 1% of the big old trees still remaining that used to blanket the coast. Deforestation, even when it leads to tree plantations being replanted, impacts many things, including decreasing or destroying biodiversity, destabilizing local and global weather patterns, increasing greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and increasing temperatures, both globally and locally. And none of that even touches on the effect it's had on Indigenous communities through a history of forced displacement and intentional destruction of Indigenous villages in order to allow European settlers to access these lands for logging. But with all the negative effects of logging, we're also aware that logging plays a daily part in our lives as cruisers and as British Columbians. Logging creates access roads that have given us access to plants like the ones we've been talking about, as well as easy access to walkable roads that are a lot nicer for the dogs. Logging also currently creates more than 55,000 jobs in the province, and Logan has held some of those jobs. Logging paid for a lot of our boat because this is where Logan spent the bulk of his career working as a mechanic. We as individuals, let alone as a society, are very deeply entwined with logging. Every animal alters their environment to survive, and obviously humans are no different. How goes the blackberry hunting?
Pretty sparse.
We need to log to some extent in order to build homes, make paper, feed fireplaces, etc. But the extent to which we have logged and continue to log feels very unbalanced and unsustainable, and like something needs to change. Humans, after all, are the only animal that can say that we've altered more than 75% of the landmass of the planet. So what do you think? Respectively, what is the way forward for us as a global population who uses wood for so many purposes? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, but be respectful to one another. We're all on the same team. So tonight, we get to have another amazing seafood dinner. So Logan and May today went out and caught a couple of rockfish. So I've got 4 rockfish fillets right here. Can you see them? And those are going to be battered and turned into the fish in fish and chips. So I currently have a ton of potatoes in our oven that have been cut up into fry size. Our oven does not like to get past about 300 degrees, and it takes forever to get up to temperature, so I'm not 100% how those are going to turn out. But I've also got some oil ready to shallow fry the fish, so at least the fish will be good. And another awesome thing is that Marty put down a crab trap today and got quite a few crabs, so we also have crab for dinner. So it should be a really good dinner. But yeah, it's pretty amazing to be able to have such fresh food constantly. Thanks so much for watching and for making it to the end. We appreciate you and hope to see you next time.